So maybe we'll do, whatever. Let's just fucking do it. Let's just not overthink it.
Okay. That's what I'm going in. That's why I'm wearing the stupid fucking hat. Like we're overthinking the show too. I'm going to lighten this mood up.
It's like last week, back to basics. We just need to do our thing. Be
That's
ourselves. Yeesh.
I can't help thinking.
Bro, you're not recording.
Somewhere in the universe, there has to be something better.
Oh, we've been recording for 10 minutes.
We've been recording 10 minutes. What the fuck?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension to 10.
What just happened?
It's all good.
So I thought I broke my just like the microphone just fell off.
Oh my god. I'm surprised it took this many episodes for that stupid thing to...
While I was laughing, I literally was trying to move my microphone up, and then the whole stand just fell off, and I just happened to catch it.
You know, the sad thing is the way I crop these videos is that all of that is because I see it, right? But it's cropped so that the audience can't see Spenny's just ridiculous microphone setup.
Why? Because it's hidden under my armpit?
Wow, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's popping, man?
Yeah.
It's been a minute here.
Man. Yeah, I mean, so I went on vacation, and just the way things worked, we couldn't get the recording done last week.
Yep.
Sorry to everybody. We didn't get it done, but we are back, ready to go. I don't think we have any trips in the future for a while, so.
No, we didn't clickbait it this last time. Say we almost broke up the podcast for the third time. So
could be though.
There's no drama this time, anyways.
No drama. There was no drama this time.
Little vacation, little beach action, right?
Yeah, I got tan. Sat on a beach.
Looking tan, brother.
Thank you.
No burns.
It was awesome. No burns. Just
do you have to apply? Do you have to apply bullfrog?
No bullfrog.
We have this friend from high school that just was. Well, he's of Scandinavian descent.
Scandinavian,
I guess even more so than we are.
Yeah, and
just you always use the weirdest sunscreen. His choice was Bullfrog SPF 3000 or something, and but
I mean, this is
no sunburn, huh?
Yeah, no sunburn. I mean, you're talking about a guy that used Bullfrog that got sunburned like a lobster.
Yeah,
I think it was
the thing is, it never worked.
Yeah,
he used it; it didn't work. So
he for sure thought it was going to work, but whatever.
Yeah.
But also, anyone that's watching the video, I have a hat on today, and this hat has a little bit of backstory. My parents just got back. They went to Spain and France, and this little ditty that's on my head was a gift for my son. It's a biker hat with Cookie Monster's eyes on it, but it fits my head. And the other problem is I love my mom. She gets gifts for the kids and stuff. That's great. But this said it was made in China. So I don't think it's French because it was made in China. And it fits my head, not my son's head. So I don't really understand why.
Well, it also, is your son proficient at bicycling at this stage?
No, I mean, he has to wear a helmet when he rides a bike. If he does, he's not in the Tour de France, and this isn't the 1960s. So,
Well, it looks
I don't
epic.
know.
Looks super
Yeah.
dope. When
Looks great,
color
doesn't it?
coordinated. Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Just happened to work out with my outfit today. So
Yep.
but that's it.
Very nice.
That's all my little tidbit for this hat. We I think as I told you before we started, I was like, we gotta stop taking ourselves so seriously and just lighten up. So
The funny thing is, I had on a hat and I took it off.
Yeah.
For this episode. Right before I got on camera, I had a hat on. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Not going to do it tonight. I took it off. And because we don't coordinate this stuff at all. We don't talk about what we're obviously going to wear or do or say.
But
so, maybe next time.
those first 2 or 3 episodes. So the first episode we did that we never released.
Yeah.
That we never released. The whole time I was recording, I was wearing ski goggles and a ski helmet.
Yeah, it was the first pilot that was the audio
Tremors.
Was for about Tremor 6, right? Because it's snowscaped theme, and so Spenny for 2 episodes in a row came in costume.
Yeah,
you wore your old Weeblos shirt, right? And your Boy Scout. That's the second one that had nothing to do with John Carter, right?
It was closest thing to a uniform. So
because the Civil War thing.
Yeah.
But then the thing was, so that was this running gag with Spenny. He would appear on camera in costume, and it happened twice. And then at that time, we had no intentions of releasing video, right, of the thing.
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of fell to the side. Yeah.
And that was on our old jank system of bad equipment. And actually, you know what, Spenny, this segues quite nicely into the story I've prepared today.
Oh, wonderful. That's what I'm here to tee it up.
It's about our old equipment and whatnot. And for the listeners at home, I'm going to title, I usually don't give titles to my stories, but this story is titled China 2.0 or Jad almost ended up in a pit. Because all right, so the first few episodes of the podcast, I'm sure if you've listened to all of them, if you are just getting caught up now, if you're a new listener, thank you, where the audio was not great, and it was not great to us because we heard a hiss every single time, and that had to do with our particular microphones and the particular audio interface that we used. And thanks a lot, Brian.
Yeah,
because he's the one that put together this shopping list.
Money
for
down
us.
the drain.
Said, you know what? You can just use this interface. There's no worries. And turns out that it just kind of wasn't compatible with this style of mic for whatever reason. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So after I don't know how many episodes it was, we got new interfaces and they work well. So that left us with old interfaces that I'm assuming you still have yours, right?
Yeah, it's too old to return. So
we couldn't return it. And so I've been since that time, this is 5 or 6 months now, maybe. I've been trying to sell this interface on Facebook Marketplace on my wife's account because I don't have a Facebook account, right? Yeah. I live in Nashville. I would have thought that this thing would have been a hot commodity in a city where there's a lot of people using microphones for various things.
Price to sell.
Yeah. I priced it to sell and just nothing. So I took off another $20, right? And so just nothing for months. And then this little text or chat bubble pops up on Facebook saying, boop, this was last Tuesday night. The date doesn't matter, but this is a Tuesday night. Okay. That's what's important. So remember, this is my wife's account, so it's her name and everything. And so this guy comes up on the chat and says, I'm interested, whatever. And I say, okay. And I give him my phone number so that I don't have to sit at the computer on this Facebook chat messenger, right?
Right.
And so before he texts me, he sends a message. Can you bring it? I'll pay. So he offered $40 more than what I listed it for. Okay.
Normal. Totally normal.
$40 on top of what I listed it for. And he said, can you bring it to me tonight? At this point, he's, by appearances, speaking to my wife, right? Because I haven't said what my name is yet. And I haven't given my phone number. And so then I text him, or I send him my phone number so we could text. And it was, well, where do you live? Right. First of all, no, but where do you live, in case this is just next door or something? And he said the address, which was 30 miles away. And I said, okay, no, I can't. The earliest I could do would be tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. Crickets. Nothing. I'm thinking, okay, he's not interested anymore.
He spooked him.
So the next morning, so the last thing that he reads on his phone is, the earliest I could do is tomorrow afternoon. I get a text at 7:30 in the morning saying, either now or this afternoon. What? Either now what? Like, I just, what do you mean now? and so I said, well, I'm working. I can't, I cannot get there until before 3:00.
Right.
Crickets for most of the day. Now it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. And remember, this is going to take me about 50 minutes to get there in traffic and all that stuff. Plus I have to walk a mile to my car. Plus I have to go, pick it up from my house and all this stuff. So it's a big commitment for me to, one, bring it to him, but also at the time of day. Right. And so he says, so I say, are you still interested? About 1:30. He says, yeah. Nothing. And I said, okay. I mean, does 3:00 work? Yeah. Bro, where am I going? Where? Right? So I said, okay, where do you want to meet? And he said, how about, now I was getting worried because I didn't want to just go to his house. Right. All the stuff I've sold on Facebook, I always go to a Target parking lot or something, And so I was going to suggest we meet at some public place. And so thankfully he said, how about you come to the Walmart in this town at 3 p.m. I say, whatever. Okay. I will be there at 3 p.m.
Yep.
Takes me basically an hour to get there. Right. And I get there at 2:50. I send him a text. Yo, I'm here. I'm in the back of the parking lot. No one around me. This is my vehicle and stuff.
Right.
3:05 rolls around. I get a text saying, I was there as long as I could be. I had to go home. Can you meet me at my house? And so now if this wasn't as like the red flags, right? We're just like popping off, communicating with my wife. Can you bring this to me at 9:30 at night? Right. I'll pay you extra to bring it to me. But you're fucking Spenny's microphone just crashed down. Wow, that thing, man. That's awesome. Okay. Sorry. So, right, all these red flags. But then it's like, it took me basically an hour to get here. I'm already here. Well, I was so desperate to sell this thing too. Right. And so I say, okay, where do you live? Right. He sends me his address. It's another 20 minutes from where I am. Right. And not in the direction I came from. Right. So it's another 20 minutes to go. And I'm thinking, okay, so I look up the address and I'm looking it up on the map and doing the satellite map view. And it's just this house in the middle of nowhere. There's no neighbors and trees around, right? There's nobody. It's just gravel road to nothing, abandoned looking house, shack thing.
Great.
And so I'm sitting there in my car thinking, this is so stupid. This is so stupid, right? So I should not be doing this. And so then I say, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
To be fair, you did send a message to our group.
I sent a message to the group saying, if I'm not, like, when I got close, I said, because my wife was working, right? She was not thrilled that I was doing this. And she, not in like an angry way, but she was just concerned, right?
Right.
Basically anyone would and should be. But so because I didn't have immediate contact with her, I started spamming the chat with what was happening. And I said, when I got close, if I don't check in 10 minutes, call my wife.
Call my wife.
And so, okay, now I'm on my way. Mm-hmm. Takes 20 minutes to get there. And he starts sending me texts like, oh, let me know when you're close. Don't come to the door. Do not knock on the door. Do not come to the door. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this situation? And then he sends me a text when I'm really close saying it's this amount of money, right? So he says it's X amount of money, what I listed it for, not the $40 more that he offered to bring this stupid thing to him. And so I said, yes, but also no, because you offered the extra $40 to bring it to you. And there's just nothing. And then so I pulling up, and sure enough, he is standing in his driveway. And again, it is a house with nothing around it. This is just, there's probably a pit in the living room kind of situation. And so this was the whole thing was just this interesting debacle, right? But the interaction was so bizarre too, because I pull up to the driveway, roll down the window. Mm-hmm. He walks up to the passenger side. I hand him the thing. He hands me a wad of money, and we don't say a word to each other. It was 5 seconds tops where I hand him out a thing. He hands me cash. I roll up the window and I drive away. He didn't say, oh, sorry, I couldn't meet you at Walmart, or thanks for coming to me, or whatever. Like, bro, we had an agreement at 3 p.m. at Walmart. I was early and he says I was there as long as I could be. No, you weren't. You didn't come, right? You're trying to get me to your house. So, but the entire time, I haven't felt this nervous about anything since China, being in that room with those people around me. And here I am, found myself in the exact same situation, probably going to end up in a pit
get out
somewhere.
Of your car.
But yeah, I didn't get out of my car. I realized that's the least I could do for my own safety, is leave it in drive. Don't get out of the car. Be able to peel away.
Yeah.
So the story ends with, I did in fact get all of the money, the $40 extra. I did manage to sell this stupid thing. And I didn't end up in a pit, but the whole thing was so stupid. It's just so stupid. It's everything that you hear not to do, right? Yeah. When selling stuff online with Craigslist and Facebook and whatnot.
You were falling.
So
right
anyways,
maybe it was the second he saw that. Well, he knew that you were a guy versus your wife.
Yeah. Cause I sent him my name. I said, I'm Jordan and stuff. But yeah, it's just so many red flags from the get go. Right.
Yeah. That story so we watched, we did watch one movie this past week, and it was the Black Phone. It's on Peacock, and it's Ethan Hawke, and it's this like thriller or horror. And it's about this guy in a van that picks up people, steals them.
Okay.
And it made me think of when you were telling that story. I was like, oh yeah, like the kids were just, going by talking to this guy, and all of a sudden he just takes them and locks them in the basement and like tortures all these kids. So that could have been you, but it's not. So
could have been me. I will admit that. So I have this just small knife that's in the car for, I don't know, some kind of emergency situation if I ever need a knife, right? Or a sharp object. No, it's about the same size though. And I will admit, I did kind of get that in a location that would have been like easy to retrieve if I needed it. I don't know if I would have used something like that. I don't know if I could resort to violence, but I was getting ready.
Glad you didn't have to.
There was bells were going off. We didn't say a word to each other. It was so weird. The whole thing was weird.
Did anybody follow you home?
No. It's empty road to get there, empty road coming back.
Good.
And yep.
So it's different than the movie that we watched.
Well,
like
so far.
You weren't preyed upon.
So far.
So that's good.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Okay. So I think so far so good. It's been a week.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you got rid of your useless.
Thank you. That's the real win box. Here. That's the real. Oh, I forgot. Okay. This is how okay.
Yes.
He gives me $40 to transport this thing, right? I had to fill up, and the gas station bill was $47. So I kind of lost money doing this.
Broke even.
I should have just waited to sell it locally for the price that I listed. So stupid.
Well, congratulations, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah. Don't do this stuff. Don't
do it, guys. It's not worth it.
Don't do it. Okay.
It.
There's a little kind of surprise brewing here. Do we want to touch on the FCC? I feel like there's some stuff that needs to be said briefly about the FCC.
Sure.
I'll start. I have a full disclosure.
Okay.
I have a full disclosure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't done jack shit the last 2 weeks. My parents came and I just binged on Oreos and other junk, and I worked out once with my mom, and then I haven't worked out since. It's been
the hell's your problem?
Basically 2 weeks. Don't know.
Now you need me to fire up that challenge again so we bust each other asses for 3 hours again.
Well, no, not necessarily, but I do find it a little bit peculiar that my watch hasn't given me a single update about you doing a workout. So have you not been working out?
Well, I was on the beach, so I took my watch off.
Okay.
I was doing
but
beach
you've been
workouts.
back. You've been back for about a week.
Yeah, I was busy. Work.
Okay.
My
so
daughter
we're about the
kindergarten,
same.
So,
we're about the same. So you haven't done jack shit, right?
I worked out today. I don't know if you got that notification.
I saw that you closed your rings today, but I didn't see that. Really?
Yeah. My heart was up to like 182 heart rate.
Get it. The plan is,
felt good, but yes, I agree. We both have been slacking, so we need to get back in gear.
You know what, though? I feel like some of it for me was, even though my diet was atrocious, I do feel like it was somewhat therapeutic for my body because certain muscle groups I feel like are actually bigger because of the rest and not destroying them every single day. So it was a bit productive. I will say that.
That's good. I would say
just from the fact that rest is good.
My workout today, I do pull-ups, and I did more pull-ups than I had a couple weeks ago. So maybe the body just needs a little bit of a break when you're
maybe the body
needs a little bit of a break when you're destroying it. But yes, we are still on. We're still need to work harder at it. This is a prime example of why I always kept taking before pictures and never had afters, because things like this always happen.
I will say though that I'm not going to name names. I was asked today actually if I've lost weight. This was unsolicited, and this was 2 weeks of doing nothing too. So, and it's not from someone I would have expected to hear anything about. So
it's probably the gruff on your chin. Did you ask him about your face though? Did you say, does my face
I did not say
thinner?
Thanks. I've been in a fat face challenge for the last 5 weeks. So no.
Okay.
Which, by the way, we only have like 5 weeks left, right?
Yeah.
This is not a lot of time.
Yeah, we got
to get to our goals. We got to crank this baby back up to where we were, maybe past it.
Turn.
And so there will be injuries yet. I feel, but no, I'm feeling motivated again tomorrow morning.
I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to work out today because yesterday I walked right into the corner of a door right on my kneecap. And if you've ever done that, it is the worst. It's just that stinging pain, and you can't do anything like to take it away. You can't walk away like you do if you like hit your elbow or something. Yeah. You just sit there and you're like, oh my God. So I did that. But luckily everything seems okay. So I'll survive. But it hurt.
I believe you, man. It sounds like an ouchie boo boo.
How many Oreos did you actually have while you were?
About 3 family packs.
Oh my God.
If that doesn't paint a picture for what Oreos do to me, I don't know what else will.
3 family packs? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah, I know.
It's a problem. Plain and simple.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, no more.
So
did you
get
rid of them all? They're all gone?
Yeah, actually, and I purged the cabinet and the fridge pretty hardcore a couple days ago.
Cool.
There's no food, but there's also no junk food. So committed, man.
All right.
Starting tomorrow.
Let's go.
Or Saturday. We'll see.
Friday or Saturday.
Friday.
I'll start that
next week.
I'll start that.
You know what?
Week,
we'll start September. It's best to start at the beginning of something.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I hate when I have to start something in the middle of the month. Like, let's start clean slate.
You know what? Let's just start the first of the month. First morning, first of the month.
Let's start 2023.
2023. This year's almost over. Let's start season 2 of the podcast. That's what we can do. When season 2 starts, that's when we're gonna start back up, going hard.
Clean slate.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Okay, so that was an update. We've both been slacking.
Yep.
Both been basically vacating from the FCC. But back at it.
Here we are.
Okay, Spenny. I've been teasing this a little bit. Here's what's going on.
Yeah, you sent me this cryptic thing that this was also part of the reason that we didn't record is because there was some top secret project that you're working on that involves countless hours of man hours and you're only one man and there's only so much time in the clock. There's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. I mean, we gotta there's only so much time.
You hit the nail on the head, man. That's all there. Here's what happened. You suggested yet another movie that we can't dunk on, right? And so thanks. So you recommended a good movie, and I didn't want to have a repeat of episode 19, Gray Man. And so I thought, okay, what can I want to make a new segment, and it combines an idea that we had, I think, in episode actually 19, where I believe I said something like, we'll give a rundown of the show history for episode 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we just didn't do that at all.
Right.
And so I kind of combined a little bit of history of the show so far with also a new segment that is a game show and game show is a loose term for that because it's really just a multiple choice quiz for you.
Oh, great.
To see how well you know the show. But in the guise of a game show. Our show. Yeah, our show. Okay. And the couple hitches why it's not really a game show is that there's no points, there's no prize, and you get nothing for getting all right. And nothing happens if you get none of them right either. So,
wow, that's just...
listen, this is again really... not enough hours and whatnot. And so I wasted all of my time really making this intro stinger.
This is so exciting.
Wasted all my time making this intro stinger, which I will play now. Spenny knows that I've made a video. He doesn't know what it looks like. I don't even know if this is going to work. So obviously for the actual edit, you'll be able to hear this if you're watching the YouTube video, which I highly recommend for this segment because there's stuff to see here. Obviously, I'll edit this in, but whether or not this works for Spenny to see, we are about to find out.
Okay.
Name That Ascension.
Oh, dear God.
Did you hear any of that?
No.
You did. Okay, so pull it up on your phone quick.
Okay.
So for the audience, they just heard me. Okay, yeah. Okay. Did you hear the music and all that?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right. So basically, what just played is a new segment. I don't know if this is going to be recurring or not. Called "Name That Ascension," and the
you look great as Bob
what's on
Barker,
screen now is Spenny looking like an absolute idiot, and then me face swapped with Bob Barker. Okay, I'm going to stop this now, and we're going to start the game show.
Okay. Is this on a PowerPoint or something, or do I have to listen to it?
I did make it on
auditorily?
PowerPoint.
Wow.
I did make it on PowerPoint, but this is
Ballsy.
PDF mode. Okay, what's going to happen now, Spenny, is 9 questions. Okay,
I'm going to nail it.
So there's a variety of different question types. I will, whatever. They're fucking questions. Just answer the questions, right?
Okay.
All right. Question 1 of Name That Ascension.
Okay.
Which episode title corresponds to the movie Bright? A. Full Court Dunks. B. Championship Ascensions. C. I'm allergic to this movie. D. Our First Fight.
A. Full Court Dunks.
Full Court Dunks. That is correct.
Whoa.
Spenny gets 1 point.
I thought you were color coordinating these, so I'd be like, that's the same colors we had for the thumbnail.
Hours, man. Too many hours. You gotta. I texted you, said to lower your expectations or to set your expectations low, right? Okay.
Okay.
I used the font. I used our font.
I know, it looks great. Yeah.
Thanks. All right, moving on. Question 2. Which episode currently has the most Apple listens? A. Episode 1, A New Pilot. B. Episode 6, Boring Loader. C. Listener Special Number 1. D. Episode 10. These ratings were alien to us.
A New Pilot.
Answer A. Episode 1, A New Pilot.
Nice.
Which, according to Apple, we have 135 listens. All right. That's 2 for 2. Moving on to question 3. Which episode has the most views on the YouTube channel? A. Episode 1, A New Pilot. B. Episode 7, A Tale of Two Ascensions. C. Episode 18, We Got in a Huge Fight and the Podcast Ended. D. Episode 15, Gunning with Independence.
I gotta say it's Gunning with Independence.
That's a D. It's D.
Yes.
Episode 15, Gunning with Independence. And
Nice.
I think it has like 25 views. So,
woo.
Very well. Very, very good job here. Okay. I think okay. New type of question. Which episode title corresponds to this thumbnail? And it's a thumbnail of Riddick with bulging eyes and he's got his little goggles. A. Championship Ascensions. B. Beyond Ascension. C. Our First Fight. D. A Tale of Two Ascensions.
Oh, shoot. This is tough. I think
Think it out. Think it out.
I think it's Championship Ascension.
You going with A?
What's my time limit? Let me think about yeah, I'm sticking with Champions Ascensions. Champions.
That's A. You're right. A. Championship Ascensions.
Good.
That is 4 down. You've answered all 4 correct.
How many are there?
8. Okay. Halfway through.
Nice.
All right. Question 5. How many movies has Brian reviewed? A, 2. B, 3. C, 4. D, 5.
How many episodes he's been on, or how many actual movies he's reviewed?
How many movies has Brian reviewed?
2.
Spenny's going with A, 2.
Yep.
Answer, A, 2. Nice. He's been on 4 episodes. He's only reviewed 2 movies.
Sounds like him. He's doing half the work.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds right.
All right, moving on. Question 6. Now, this is a new type of question, okay? There's going to be a few of these. Question 6. Which of the following is not a note that I, Jad, wrote about the fifth element? Okay, so these are things that I wrote in my notes as I was watching the movie. One of these is not on my note list, okay?
Yeah.
A, turd spaceship approaches Earth. B, slugs are on the ship and want some stones to get back at Zlart. C, ship blows up with Zlart on it. D, I hate this fucking movie.
I think it's D. I don't think you would really spell fucking like that.
Well, okay, so that's because I don't have to edit over top of this when I do the edit. So obviously I wouldn't have written that, like you said, this way. This is so that I don't have to say A210 over top of the text. You put it on the
screen, that's how I'm going to read it, okay?
Oh, okay. You're going with D?
Yes.
Okay, D, I hate this fucking movie. Answer, D, I hate this fucking movie.
Well, sound logic for me. Yay!
Yep. All right. Similar type of question. Question 7. Which of the following is not a note I wrote about Tremors 6? A, Travis commits to filling out a non-resident special exemption RCMP 5594. Jesus Christ. B, Travis kickflips a graboid into oblivion. C, some useless dialogue wastes runtime and only serves to highlight the fact that both actors are probably wearing dentures. D, at one point the geologist pronounces him dead, despite the heartbeat monitor continuing to beep.
C.
C, some useless dialogue wastes runtime and only serves to highlight the fact that both actors are probably wearing dentures. Answer. B, Travis kickflips a graboid into oblivion. It's not a note that I wrote. Microphone fell off again.
I think it's time to get a new one.
Nope. Throw it away. All right, we've got 2 questions left here, Spenny. You're doing well. Question 8. Similar type, a little bit of a variation on this. Which of the following is not a note I wrote about any movie? Okay, so this is any note that I wrote. One of these is not correct. A, bunch of sewer rats crash the Taco Bell party and he traps them all in a fucking tent. B, Kurt, I'd like you to meet Chert. C,
that would happen for
what
sure.
The fuck is white space? D, detective follows him to work, then asks what he does for work.
These are all probable. He saw something like they could happen. I'm going to go with D.
D, detective follows him to work, then asks him what he does for work. Answer. C, what the fuck is white space?
We never did. We still don't know.
We never found out what was white space.
Can't wait for the sequel to find out.
Okay, Spenny, you are currently 6 out of 8.
All right.
Going into question 9. Final question. Question 9. How many ascensions have we rated?
Together or combined?
Yep, total. How many total ascensions have been given out by this podcast? A, 9. B, 10. C, 11. D, 12.
I'll go with C.
C11. Answer. C11.
Yes.
Nice work, man. So that is 7 out of 9.
Wow. Great segment.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad I know my 8 to 10 knowledge. I don't know your notes, but I think I know most of the knowledge of the actual show.
Yeah, good job, man.
Thank you.
Good job, man.
All right. Let's talk about our movie.
All right.
Prey from 2022. $88 million budget. Technically says $50 million domestically, though it's not really released because it's on Hulu, which Hulu announced that it debuted #1 on Hulu, and it is the biggest movie premiere they've had on their streaming service. So,
wow,
pretty good. And I've actually heard from a ton of people that I know that have watched it and enjoyed it. So I was actually pretty impressed that I didn't have to ask people about it, but people were just like, "Hey, have you seen Prey? That's like really good."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a redemption, it sounds like, from the previous Predators. I have not seen the last couple. I think the last one I saw was actually Alien vs. Predator.
Okay. Yep.
It's been a while.
Well,
I'm a little rusty on it.
Rusty.
Yep. But whole thing was filmed in Alberta, Canada. 33 cast, 455 crew. The director and writer of this was Dan Trachtenberg. He is the guy that did 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then he also did a couple directing of The Boys and then Black Mirror. So there's a couple of the other credits he got for directing.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. And this is the second movie, I believe, in the Predator. There's 7 movies, I think, total of Predator. And this is the second time that a Comanche tribe has been in a film. The first one was May Blood Pave Your Way Home.
That's a Predator movie?
I think so.
I've heard of that one.
I'll double check. I'll double check
top tier research here. Because here are the Predator movies I know about.
Okay.
Predator, Predator 2,
yeah,
Alien versus Predator,
yeah,
Alien versus Predator Requiem, Predators, The Predator, and Prey. This is the only movie that doesn't have the Predator in the title.
I can't even find it.
That's top tier research, folks. I mean, maybe that was an animated thing or something that you found, or some kind of comic book or something. There was a Native American in the first one.
You know what? It was in 2017, it says. Oh, it was a short story. Never mind.
So not a movie, not a show, not an animated thing, not even a book. Short story. Okay.
Shut up. Fuck off. Next.
Next. Okay. Well, yeah.
Do you want me to do a synopsis?
Or?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. On the northern Great Plains of the 18th century, the classic David versus Goliath battle is about to occur. Predator arrives seemingly for no reason and decides to take his chances against the Comanche Native Americans. Unfortunately for him, he does not know that these natives are not going to let him walk in and take them down. A sibling duo of Naru and Tabi work together and defeat the Predator. It is ultimately Naru who turns herself invisible with an orange flower and defeats the Predator with his own weapon.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
The beginning of this film says a long time ago, it said a monster came here. And then it starts talking Comanche back and forth. It's like English and Comanche kind of go back and forth. And there was one thing that was interesting but also annoying about it, is that like it started off with Comanche and then it flipped to English, and then the whole thing was in English. So it was like, why not do it all in English? Why not do it all, or like try to infuse it? Yeah. And the director did say that it was one of those things where, like in Hunt for Red October, if you've ever watched that, like there's a part where they start talking Russian and then all of a sudden everyone starts speaking English. And he said it's that same thing where they were trying to figure out how do we, blend with showing some of the Comanche and how they speak to it, but then moving it to English. And they talked about dubbing it all in Comanche to have everybody do Comanche, but they just decided that they would do it kind of the same way. And so it was kind of an interesting way that they did it. Because I don't know if I would personally, I think I would just kept it all English, but.
So I thought that they did one thing well along those lines, is that when the French fur traders come in, all those actors speak French, and they can't communicate between the Comanches and the French people, right? And so we are in this headspace of the Comanches, so we can understand them through English,
right?
But we can't understand unless you speak French, right? The French fur traders. So I thought they handled that well. And yeah, it's always, I probably care more than is necessary about dialogue, right?
Right.
Especially in movies like this. Mm-hmm. And it never makes sense to have dialogue in there where they add in they'll be just talking about, I don't know, something, and they'll throw in in this case, Comanche word.
Yeah.
But then have to explain it, right? So they'll interweave it, and then they'll take the time it takes to say whatever the word, and then pause, English translation, continue in English.
Right.
And so from a dialogue perspective, that always annoys me.
Yeah.
To the explaining part. And I am all about, promoting all these cultures and stuff and having them be shown and highlighted. And I think I would have rather them just have spoken Comanche and just have subtitles, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the big thing, is like pick one or the other, like,
yeah,
make it work.
Yeah.
So after all that, like getting over the Comanche, all of a sudden we're all talking English, like we understand them. Naru is very good with her axe. I would just like to say that, like the way she throws it and stuff, I thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty badass.
For sure. Did she look like, the whole time I couldn't stop thinking that she looked like Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, she does a little bit with like that makeup on. It gave her kind of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. Well, she has a new show out, I think, or a movie, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Emily something.
No, that's cool.
Anyway.
Okay. So maybe I'll give a rundown of the Predator franchise.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. There are 7. We just discussed that. Okay.
Could
Classic,
be 8
original
one I added, but
there's not 8. There's only 7. Okay. Predator, or Predator 1, Arnold Schwarzenegger, classic action movie. One of the best, right?
Classic. Yep.
If you haven't seen it, just watch it. It's awesome. Yep. Ex-Vietnam soldiers or mercenaries or something get called in by an old CIA friend, come rescue some hostages in Colombia or something, some jungle. And they get there and there's no hostages. And it turns out they were set up by the CIA person to figure out something mysterious that's been going on with some killings or something along those lines.
Yep.
Turns out there's an alien and he's hunting. He hunts other aliens from his perspective for sport. He can camouflage himself with a cloaking device. He has all these gadgets, all these weapons, and he's methodical, one by one, picks off this mercenary group. Final battle scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who cloaks himself in mud because turns out these aliens see in infrared. So they don't see in visible spectrum. They only see in infrared, so they can see body heat, masks his body heat, camouflaged himself, messes up the alien by dropping a tree on him. Predator 2, 10 years later, or something like that. Which I think Predator 2 is the best one. Now this is inner city LA. There's gang riots and gang wars. And there's this cop who is fighting these gangs, drug cartels and stuff. And they take out these gang lords, but then find it weird that there's a warring faction of other gang lords and narcotics people were killed, but not by the people that they were warring with. And so there's this investigation. His partner goes to this crime scene after the fact, and he gets killed, and in mysterious ways. And so Danny Glover, he goes on a one-man show to avenge his partner. Turns out it's an alien, same one, or same type of alien. Yeah. And then it's got all these gadgets and stuff, and it's dope. And he's so cool. And he tracks this alien down to the alien ship, and there's this epic final battle where he kills him. Danny Glover kills the alien, and then these other aliens show up. Oh no, he's screwed, because obviously they have all their blasters and stuff. And nope, he killed one of their homies, so they're all good. He's the finer warrior. So the head chieftain, captain, or whatever, tosses him this old flintlock pirate pistol and says, "What's up? Get out of here." And that was it for 20 or 30 years. Probably 20 years. And then this little old movie called Alien versus Predator comes out. It's completely insane because it melds the Alien franchise with the Predator franchise, which up until that point, James Cameron and the guy that did Gladiator and Blade Runner and Alien and all that, Scott. Yeah, Ridley. So they were both adamant saying, no, this is not, whatever is happening here, this is not canon. Aliens and Predators are not in the same universe. This is not happening. This is not sanctioned. But they had the rights or something, so they told them to fuck off, and they weren't making any alien movies, right? So it's like, fuck you. So, but what was kind of neat is that in the final scene of the Predator 2 movie, when he's on the ship, there's this part of the ship that has all their trophies. So these aliens collect skulls and spinal cords of the prey, right? And in the few movies they show them just rip out the whole spinal cord with the skull and stuff. And
they did that in this one.
Very brutal and all that stuff. Yep. And so they have this trophy room on the ship, and there's these gigantic skulls. There's human skulls that look like skulls of dinosaurs or other aliens and stuff, but hidden as an Easter egg is a skull of an alien or an alien or the xenomorph. Yep. It was never explained. It was never this. There's just this Easter egg saying, oh, look, this kind of looks like those other popular alien movie things. So 20 years later, someone makes this Alien versus Predator movie, and it turns out that these predators are kind of seed planets with these alien spore things, the face hugger things. Yep. And they intentionally have human sacrifices that get implanted with these alien eggs, so that a bunch of aliens spawn out, and then the predators hunt the aliens, which they think are the ultimate prey. Right. And so they have these tests, and turns out that the predator aliens are responsible for making all the pyramids on the planet, because they gave them the technology in the warehouse, and it's all just these ceremonial things for making aliens. But then this pyramid thing just happened to be underneath Antarctica and stuff. And so then there's this alien queen that's also down there for some reason.
Yeah, she's been frozen.
And she's been frozen. And then, so the aliens just come to hunt, the predators come to just hunt aliens, right?
Right.
That's just their jam. They do that. We do it every year.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
We do it every 100 years. It's the pancake breakfast. We do it every month, right? And so they do it with some regularity, right, and such that they do this thing. It's three predators that come, and they do the hunt thing because it's something about their hierarchy, whatever. It doesn't matter. But they get overrun and whatnot, and there's only one. The one thing I hate about that movie is that 2 of the predators just get picked off immediately.
Yeah,
and it's just one predator that has to fight, and there's a human who gives a shit.
She's just a scientist, isn't she?
Yeah, she's an archaeologist or something. So the other kind of thing is or she climbs mountains or something. I don't know, some combination of half combination of those 2 things. But then one of the other Easter eggy things with the Alien franchise is that the guy leading the whatever you call it, investigation. What do you call it?
Exploration.
Expedition.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is like, there's these heat signatures underneath Antarctica. There's a pyramid waking and the machinery waking up. Actually, it's the alien queen that gets woken up and she's like prodded to start making babies and stuff because the predators are going to come and start, hunting them and stuff, whatever. The guy leading and financing that expedition was Peter Weyland or Weyland something, who's the owner of the Weyland Corporation, which is in the Alien franchise. And so they're trying to tie all these stupid things together, and who cares? And so and so then they die or whatever, but then the alien queens is like, I'm still here and I'm gonna break out, and they break out, and apparently that's never happened before, and they've sent the millennia that they've done this before. So alien queen, she falls in the ice or something, but at the very last moment she sends up a little spiky tail through the lone predator who survived, and bummer, he's dead. So then his other cronies come out and take his body because, again, this is a ceremonial thing where they hunt aliens, and then so they take him on a ship, and then it turns out that's it. But in the credit scene, post credits, there's an alien bursts out of his dead chest, and that's it. That's the movie. So Alien versus Predator 2 or Requiem starts out with an alien bursting out of the predator. So now it's this hybrid of an alien and a predator, ransacks the whole ship of other predators, just catches them off guard or something. These elite warriors, right? The most elite warriors in the universe just get taken out by a baby predator alien thing. That ship crashes back on Earth, not in Antarctica, but some in forest. And then there's just some mountain town that just gets fucking overrun with aliens somehow. Because I guess they were transporting alien eggs or something. There's just one predator alien hybrid. And then all of a sudden this mountain town is completely covered with aliens. And so then there's this distress call. And then this big bad homie from the predator homeworld or something comes and, interdimensional travel to get there the next day. And he's on this lone mission to just wipe out the alien stuff. But then he dies. And so they just nuke the U.S. government just nukes the whole town.
Might as well.
And so neither the alien wins nor the predator wins. It's just the government nukes the mountain town. And everyone dies. So alien versus predator, they both lose both times. And so then there's this gap. And then now there's this movie called Predators, where it's this
naming
on an alien world. And all these, the world's most badass mercenaries, killers, bad people get taken from Earth and then are put on this game preserve where instead of the predators going to the people that are going to hunt, they bring them to this planet, and then they're hunted on this alien planet, and then it's like they kill a few of them, and then they get killed, and there's these other predators who kill the predators, and so then they're like, we got to get in a ship, and then the ship blows up, and then that's just the movie. They just are just stuck. The survivors are just stuck on this planet. And then there's
the one with mega predators.
No, kind of. But then there's the movie The Predator, which is now back on Earth because the predators are thinking, okay, we got to do some genetic engineering, and we're going to combine to make an ultimate predator. To make a predator that's bigger than us, which they're 7 feet tall or something, right? And huge. Right. Yep. To make a predator bigger than us, we're going to splice our genes with humans, which are smaller than us, to thereby make something bigger than us.
Interesting.
And so they do that or something, but then there's this predator that says, no, humans don't, or whatever. I don't want that to happen. So he goes rogue, lands on Earth, and it's like, they're coming or something. They're doing this. And they're like, who are you? What are you? And so then there's the bigger predator and stuff, and he's just ransacking this town again. There's no aliens this time, but there's just predators ransacking this little town, and then there's, I don't know, a lot of people that die or something, and then again, that's it for years. And then this Prey movie comes out on a streaming platform that, like, out of nowhere.
Good
right?
God.
Honestly, and now this is set 300 years or 200 years. No, it's 1700s.
But you
right?
You giving the rundown after Predator and Predator 2, it sounds like they just totally took a dive bomb and then Prey just shot up.
Yeah. Okay, but here's what happens. Here's how they kind of tie it together. The pistol that she uses at the end, that she robs from or takes from the French fur trader, is the same pistol that Danny Glover gets from one of the predators, the chief predator from the end of Predator 2. Well,
yeah, so that means that they came back again and killed her and then took the pistol.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that, because the predator that she killed the predator. Right?
Yeah.
And this predator, unlike,
I mean, a nice throwback, but like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, how does it work? Right? Okay, if you're going to give an Easter egg like that, I don't know. I guess that's the point of Easter eggs, is they're not explained. It's like, oh, that's the pistol. That's how they kind of. That's how they crossed over with the. But wait a minute, they're all dead though.
Wait,
so
that doesn't make sense.
That means she's going to die by getting taken. I don't know.
I mean, so this movie is like the greatest hits for like Predator and Predator 2. It sounds like a couple of the things I was reading. And like, so in Predator 2, the predator gets his arm cut off, and then this one, it gets cut off with its own weapon, right? So it gets cut off with its own weapon. So that's similar. And then the big thing for Naru in this film is, so she is camouflaged by using this orange Tutsia flower that reduces body heat to the point where the predator can't see infrared. And I believe that if your body temp gets below like 94 degrees or something, like you have hypothermia and you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's a small margin. You're just fucking dead. If the predator can't see you, you're fucking dead. Right?
But cool concept to update.
Yeah. I mean, just I'm thinking, okay, it's cool. Is it cool though? Because she uses the flower that she uses to heal stuff. So she's this, jack of all trades. She can do healing, she can hunt, she can track, she knows when danger's around, she's good at everything, right? What is the point of using this stupid flower as camouflage? It's just, she can use it, she's used it other times to heal people, right? To heal other, heal her friends, heal her brother, heal the French guy. What purpose is it to use it as camouflage? That makes no sense.
Well, so there is some, I don't know if you would call it like use back in the Civil War. There's a flower that would help to stop, like, slow down the blood flow from battle wounds and stuff, and it was called this calendula plant. And I think that's what they took the origination from, because it's the same color. And the thing was that it would help break fevers and also help slow down, like, so if people were bleeding, it would slow down the blood flow. So I think that's where they got the idea from it, based on the research I found. But at the same time, I agree. I mean, how much can you reduce a blood to the point where a predator wouldn't see you? Because
it's just use the mud. Just use the mud that there's mud everywhere. Teasing. She gets caught in quicksand at some point, right?
Yeah, it would have been a better throwback that she gets stuck in the quicksand, she gets out, and then she's covered in the mud, and been like, oh yeah, here we go. Like, you can't.
Yeah, have that lead into the bear scene. Yeah, right. Or like she crawls through that and then gets attacked by the bear, but then the bear gets owned by the predator and stuff. Yeah. And I don't know. It's a small thing, right? I mean,
like, honestly, it's small critiques. I mean, we're trying to find critiques on it. So
here's what has always pissed me off about the predator anatomy or something, or technology, right? They only see an infrared, right? And in a couple of the movies, you see their point of view a few times, especially in the first and second movies. But then at one point in the second movie, I believe Danny Glover knocks his helmet off, and so you see how the Predator sees without his helmet tech, and it's even worse. It's just all red, and there's just blotches of red that aren't kind of the same red as the background. Right?
Oh yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah. Well, that was
that was an infrared.
So that was one of the things I was going to ask you about, because there's a part where he does lose his helmet. So it's like when you have the helmet on, you see the infrared. You're scanning. You can see everything. So when that's off, like how well do they see? So that kind of answers it, but it doesn't show. Yeah. It didn't show how he could see. So that's why I was curious.
So in Predator 2, I'm pretty sure you see it. It sucks. It's terrible. Here's what's always pissed me off. They have their little wrist calculators, right? Mm-hmm. Where they have their tech and then their bombs. Because in Predator 1, and I can't remember, in Alien versus Predator and all that stuff, they have these little cold fusion bombs attached to their wrists, so that if they ever die or get caught or something, they just blow the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Or they blow the whole surrounding up rather than get caught. That is operated with visible light. So how are they seeing that? Right? You see them interact with these computers in the visible spectrum.
Yeah.
And you're telling me they can see that, but they can't see some homie laying on the ground that has a flower in his mouth.
Yeah.
So awesome. I don't know. That's a stretch, but
I mean, one of the things I didn't understand is these Predators they have kind of like shoulder pads, and they have a sword, and they have the mask that protects them. Why don't they have armor of some sort? Like, why is their body like fully exposed except for like a loincloth kind of thing? That was always the part. Later, like Alien vs. Predator, I feel like they had more armor on, but in this one specifically, like they don't have anything outside like the helmet and then a couple little shoulder things.
This one looked a lot different than especially all the other Predators. I took that as this is just their technology evolved since this point, or I guess 300 years later, that they come back to Earth, right? And so they have better, because you'll see that he has little tracking weapon thing,
shoulder versus...
just shot out darts, right? And not this plasma cannon. And there's a couple other things. He has the net. He has the badass net that he like throws a net on people, and then it just like cinches down and just
God, that's
and he has
awesome.
The arm gauntlet thing that he can. That's all
it's
of
the
them,
double spike.
Yeah,
the double blade.
Yeah,
the shield on
his staff is different, but the shield, that was different and unique. Yeah. I think so. It's basically just kind of more primitive.
Yeah,
from their perspective, and also probably, if we're digging into this, probably just has something to do with how they hunt.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like this guy was maybe on some kind of test or something.
Well, that's what I was trying to. So I was trying to understand, because like it's hard for me to figure out like the explanations of why did he just randomly show up by himself in this, and if it's a training and based on the other movies, that would make sense that he's learning.
Yeah. Based on the other movies, it's all about their hierarchy, and that species is all about what they've hunted and what kind of trophies they bring back and stuff. So and sometimes they're alone. Sometimes they are, like in the Alien movies, there's always a group of 3, and then in the Predators movie, there were 3 plus 1, because that was getting hunted as well. But so it's something about kind of how they progress in their own society.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, and he seemed young too, because in none of the other movies they showed predators hunting animals.
Yeah.
Or small animals, because was killing rabbits and wolves and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And a snake. The bear I thought was pretty cool.
The bear was cool. Yeah, that was really cool.
Because you see him, he kills it, and then you see him gut it, and he's just like bathing in the bear's blood that he's holding on top of him.
Yeah.
And all while cloaked too. So you just see blood, an outline and blood and whatnot. And
And she's just watching him in a beaver trap. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if did we mention they timestamped this to be in 1719, and they say it's the Northern Great Plains. We both grew up in the Great Plains. I would say Northern Great Plains. There was a lot more mountains than I remember.
Yeah, I imagine it was either the Black Hills or Montana or something.
Yeah, that'd be the closest thing to it. But the other thing too is when, I don't know, every time I see the Great Plains or plains, it reminds me of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I know this time stamp does not line up with when Laura Ingalls Wilder was around, but this brought up a memory from I think it was second grade field trip.
I think we went in third grade.
Third grade?
We went in third grade.
Okay,
yep.
Whatever. One.
I remember the teacher, so I was third grade. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. I know that teacher. So we went to a field trip to DeSmet, South Dakota, to see Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I can only, in my recollection, I feel like this is just a tourist trap for schools to bring school buses full of kids to pay money to look at stupid stuff.
Some log cabins and
some
stuff,
log cabins, yes. And it's literally they play tricks on you. They make your parents waste their fucking money. The whole day we took the trip, we were looking at where Laura Ingalls Wilder lived. They kept telling us this is where she lived. It was, the ceilings were 5 feet tall. No one could stand. And the whole time we're just like, they're telling us all about this stuff. And then we walk 2 miles to some stupid fucking barn and we go and churn butter for like 2 hours. So they got free child labor out of it. We never got to taste the butter. They kept talking about buttermilk and all the things they used to move. And then they kept telling us about the fireplace, how they used to wrap all the straw together to keep them warm during the winters. And I just remember like kids were like churning as fast as they could so that like the butter would splurt out of it. It's just so frustrating. And I remember being hungry. I remember being bored. And then I remember the last thing they do is they're like, oh, let's go to the gift shop. Like this is the last thing on the trip. And you know, your parents give you $5 or $10 to buy some random thing for this. And I remember there was 2 things I was going between. One was a wooden toy violin and a metal cup, because I wanted a cup that I wanted to drink out of, like the front, like people on the frontier did, you know, around a fire. Yeah. And the lady that was checking me out told me that, well, you can't drink out of that because it's going to rust. I was like, what's the fuck? What is the fucking point of having a cup if I can't drink out of it? So it was like, so what? Am I supposed to buy this cup and put the stupid fucking violin in there or what? So there was the stupidest, like thinking back on it, I was like, this is the stupidest field trip we've ever been on. And it was just, I don't know. It just thinking back on it. And when I was thinking about this, cause I told you, I was like, it reminds me of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Mm-hmm. And I was like, God, I'm like, got me so mad because that trip sucked. I think we ended up eating somewhere that had like chili hot dogs or something. Oh, I don't even remember. That
does kind of sound familiar, actually.
Yeah, like in a gym or something, but it was like not good food. So.
Oh yeah, maybe just in DeSmet somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I remember that my biggest memory of that is at the gift shop, I got this tic-tac-toe game thing, but it was made out of wood, and the pieces were just different colored marbles.
Yeah.
And they stored within the unit itself. It had this little door that would slide open. And I remember being excited about it. And then the teacher saw me with it, and so that we're getting on the bus, right? And she saw me with this thing that I just bought. And she said, oh, do you want to play? And I said, okay. And she just fucking owns me like 5 games in a row. She just ruthlessly fucking owned me in tic-tac-toe. Fucking third grade, right? I just bought this stupid thing.
Just adds like to it.
Ruthlessly just slaughtering me in tic-tac-toe. You know what? Whenever I think about DeSmit and Laura Ingalls Wilder and stuff, is that scene from Billy Madison where they go to this, I don't know, pilgrim place thing, and that old woman that says, "Peeing your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis." And we're back. Spenny had more difficulties, so all right. So let's close this out, Spenny.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things is Naru she is trying to prove herself as a warrior versus all the other women are like medicine people and they take care of the men and they make dinners and all this other stuff. She wanted to prove herself. So one of the big things is they had to prove yourself, you had to kill a mountain lion. That's kind of the big thing. And if you could kill a mountain lion, you became the war chief or the master chief or whatever it is for the tribe. And she ends up getting into a fight with a mountain lion on a tree. She falls off, knocks herself out, and her brother has to take her back. And then her brother goes back and kills the lion, and he becomes master chief. And that was one of the big things that really upset her, is that she wasn't able to complete it. So when it came to the predator, that was one of her big driving things, is if I can defeat the predator, I know that I'll be the war chief and become the first woman to become the war chief. And that's what she ultimately does. She learns to trap him in a mud pit. She cloaks herself so he can't see her. So she gets behind him, takes his mask, and he starts chasing her. She sets up his mask in a way that when he gets stuck into the sand pit or quicksand, he's getting ready to shoot it at her. So she thinks he's going to die. Turns out the aiming is actually right on the predator, and it kills him. Didn't nail it.
Zip zappy doop. Yep.
But it's a good flick. I think everybody should watch it.
Yeah, so with that in mind, what are you going to give it on the Ascension to 10 scale?
I like this movie a lot. I thought it was fun, action-packed. Well, I mean, we talked about a couple little things, but that was just kind of nitpicking. It is interesting to see that these Native Americans were able to take the predator down with like traps and axes, and use weapons against him versus like Arnold Schwarzenegger with all these special ops and stuff.
Well, he used sticks and traps and trees and stuff.
Well, yeah, ultimately, yeah. But when it started, they're trying to use these advanced weapons. But I'm giving this a 7.3.
7.3. Let's see. For you, that is almost as good as it gets, because that is only surpassed by Alien.
Oh, that's fitting. Alien versus Predator.
Yep. Nice. Good score. I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Whoa.
Which is
nice.
Which is, I mean, this is
the highest?
Yeah, this is easily the best movie I've seen, or that we've reviewed.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. Well, no. We both gave Top Gun 2 10s, so I have to walk that back.
Yeah.
But that was special. That was a special thing.
Yeah.
This is the first. This is easily the best of the these kind of sci-fi that we've reviewed.
Yeah,
obviously, Severance is its own category and transcendent above everything else. But
yeah, here we go. Yeah, it is really good though. The thing that's interesting on this is that this is a movie that, if you hadn't seen any of the Predator movies, you don't need to.
Yeah,
like that, it works. Yeah. It's a great film on its own, and I think that's always nice, because I think there is. If you just keep a continuation, then there's also always that thing where like you have to go back and watch the other ones, and I think that's one of the things that I've never gotten into all of the Marvel movies or the Avenger movies, I should say. Because I just haven't had time to catch up to all that. So it seems like everything's mounting against me now that I don't have time to do it. But.
So all of the whole franchise is on Hulu, except for The Predator. I think it was so bad that they just didn't bother getting the rights to it. So I would say, again, my personal favorite still is Predator 2. That is, I think, still the best one. This one's up there for sure.
Yeah. I rewatched that last scene with Danny Glover with the gun, because I was like, they handed the gun, and it's like, I know the significance of it, and so I went back and watched it because I couldn't remember exactly how he got the gun. I remember he got the gun, but I couldn't remember why. So it was pretty cool to watch.
The one thing I wish they included in this movie is the original music that they used for Predator 1, 2, and then the remake, Predators, the ba-da-da-da-da-da, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da. That's just such an awesome theme.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's so nostalgic, and it works.
You know, the other thing I forgot to talk about is that their blood is bioluminescent.
Yeah.
And that's always been cool seeing that. Where get stabbed and you see like the blade kind of has that on there and stuff. It's cool.
You know, okay, I did want to walk back and say, I'm not, when I was talking about the Predator's vision, I'm not knocking the use of infrared as something to be that part of the spectrum for vision, because I think certain animals on Earth can see into that. They don't exclusively see. So I think some kind of snakes can see infrared, but I don't think they exclusively see infrared. So I think some part of the visible spectrum bleeds in. The fact that we see visible light is a feature of our anatomy, right? The fact that we see colors is basically a virtual feature of what our brains are. Like there's no color in the world. It's just what our brains interpret those wavelengths of light, right? So seeing color is probably uniquely human, or uniquely suited to life on Earth. We all evolved, right, with similar, well, those that have eyes, right? Probably not some sea dwelling creatures, right? And certain other terrestrial animals can't see all of the different colors just by virtue of their eye anatomy, right? But the fact that our eye anatomy is what it is allows us to see color, which we take for granted. I think most people think that's just how the world is, when it's not, right? The color doesn't really exist. It's just what our brain says. And so having an alien see only in infrared makes complete sense. What doesn't make sense is them being able to interact with the visible spectrum doodads. And it's also cool. I mean, there's plenty of visible light to see stuff with, right? There's probably, but there's also, people or certain other aliens might see in microwaves or radio waves or gamma rays or X-rays or something. That's totally legit, because space is full of that shit. It's aglow with radio waves, and that's why I have telescopes with that. Anyways. Science correction rant over.
Well, that's why the James Webb telescope is so fascinating, right? Because it's the way that it's reading the color. Yeah.
In part. Now the color images that we see, that is more or less just artificially generated, because it primarily sees narrow bands of wavelength in the infrared. So the blues and the purples and the yellows and stuff that we see in these images are just kind of added in. They're computer generated. But the purpose of using infrared is to capture the type of light energy that comes from very distant things like galaxies and whatnot. Because as light goes, so these things are going away from us, right?
Yeah.
Faster than the speed of light, but that part doesn't really matter. But the fact that they're moving away from us at speed, it's kind of like how when you're on the sidewalk and an ambulance comes by you and it goes, right? The wavelengths of those sound kind of increases, and so the pitch gets lower. It's kind of like in light, how because the light is moving, the object is moving away from us, the light's coming back at us, it's kind of slowing down in a way that it's not really slowing down, but the energy of it is shifting from that part of the visual spectrum into the red, into the infrared. And so it's basically a Doppler effect of light. And so that allows us to see these really distant galaxies, and also allows us to see them through dust and all the shit that's out in space and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways. Or something like that.
It's interesting stuff, man.
Yeah. Speaking of space.
Yeah.
I have our next movie.
Ooh. Okay.
It's one I've been hearing some buzz about.
Ooh.
And it's relatively recent.
Buzzy.
And I think it's on streaming platforms. I have not checked this out, but it is called Moonfall.
Oh yeah.
It has Halle Berry in it. It has some other people in it, and then it has one of the people from Game of Thrones in it. Jon Snow's friend.
John Bradley. That's the guy that plays his friend.
I have
What's his name?
Not heard a single good thing about this, so it sounds like it's
really?
right up our alley.
Well, can I give a little teaser on it? One,
Okay.
Ronald Emmerich directed it.
Who's that?
We've done, I think, 2 or 3 of his films.
Really?
Yeah, we've done. Oh God, Independence Day is one. Godzilla from 1998. He did Independence Day 2.
Right up our alley.
The one we reviewed. And he did Day After Tomorrow. Remember that?
Okay.
And what's the other one? Anyways, so he's done a bunch of them. Oh, he was a producer on 13th Floor.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I remember now. He's been around.
Here. So the budget on this, I'll just give it now, was $150 million. Worldwide, it made 44.
Let's go. This sounds perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, we'll watch it. Sounds good.
So when you say those numbers, just to clarify for me, budget 144, made 40. So does that mean that it made 144 plus 40? So it broke even first and then it profited 40, or that it only made 40, so it lost 100 million?
Lost 100 million.
Let's go. Let's
think.
Go.
That's how I read it. So
okay,
cost that much to make, and then they send it to box office, and then that box office number. They also, the budget is how much it costs to make the film. They don't include marketing, so I don't know how much.
So it's going to be a big old L for them, right?
Yeah. They probably have to update their numbers for biggest flops. But
well, I'm excited now.
Yeah. In the next couple weeks, Brian is going to be back on, because we're probably going to do a film where we have to invite somebody on, and the only reason he's going to come on is because this person will come on with him. So I just want to tease that when you hear Brian come on, you'll hear us give him a good roast at the fact that he hasn't been on in a long time.
We'll be on begrudgingly.
And we'll make sure he knows about it.
Yeah.
But you can find us. We have a website, ascension2ten.com. You can email us at boys@ascension2ten.com. If you have I don't think we had you had a typical day story. If you have a typical day story, or recommendations for films, we always like that. And then you can follow us on socials of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ascension2ten.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
And if you watch YouTube, well, yeah, don't let me forget. It's the Ascension to 10 podcast. Please like, review. We do add some shorts there too. And Jad does a great job of kind of uploading the whole thing and adding some extra Easter eggs to each episode, which is always enjoyable to watch.
Yep. So if you want to watch the Name That Ascension segment, this would be the one to watch.
Barn burner.
Set your expectations accordingly.
Yeah. But he's Jad. I'm Spenny. Talk to you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Ascension to 10.